popped up. Massey did more than call off Salvador Perez there. He cut right in front of him. And the Royals beat the Blue Jays 4-1. And the Royals have a club record 17th win in the month of April.
Yeah, the Royals 17-13 with that win. They're 18-13. One of their wins came during the month of March, so they had 17 of their 18 wins in April. Again, now 18-13 on the season after that victory. Cole Reagans had an outstanding game for the Royals on the mound as he went 6 2/3 innings, giving up just 1 run on 4 hits and 9 strikeouts, moving to 2-2 on the season. Again, the Royals winning it 4-1 over the Blue Jays. We'll have more on that coming up here in just a moment. We'll talk with Michelle Brummet. We'll be joined by her coming up, the former Lakeside girls volleyball coach. So stay tuned for that interview here momentarily as well. Also, the NBA and NHL Playoffs. We'll have K-State in focus coming up here today also. That's a look at what's coming up on the Sports Ticket on this Wednesday, May 1st, 9/11 here on Katy Country 94. We talked about the Royals. We'll go ahead and wrap that up first as we open out the Sports Ticket. Michael Massey got things going with a 2-run homer in the second. And after a Blue Jays run in the sixth, the Royals would add 2 more in the eighth on RBI doubles from Bobby Witt Jr. and Vinny Pasquantino for the 3-run win in the end. As we told you, Cole Reagans 6 2/3, giving up just 1 on 4 hits, 9 strikeouts, and Matt Cottrero gave his thoughts on his starter in a victory.
He had the best stuff he's had all year. He was locating early in the game. He got quick outs, and then, they made him work a little bit there in the mid innings. But his stuff is so good, and when he locates it, it's really tough. And so that it was a great pitching matchup between both guys. But his stuff was electric.
I always love how when I'm playing some of those cuts, you can tell they're close to the locker room because I could hear some bumping in the background. I don't know if everybody else heard that or not. If I heard it, I'm sure everybody else did hear it because I can't hear it a lot, right? It's just funny to me when I listen to some of those cuts. Celebrating the win, the Royals win 4-1, and they get the victory over the Blue Jays here today. The Blue Jays dropping to 15-16, and these two teams will wrap up their not only 3-game series here this week, but also the season series. It's kind of weird how the schedule falls sometimes. They won't play Toronto again this year unless they would happen to see them in the postseason. So the two teams wrapping that 3-game set this afternoon. 2:07, Seth Lugo's 4-1 of the 1.66 ERA will start for the Royals against Chris Bassett of the Blue Jays, who's just 2-4 on the season coming into tonight's contest. So that's a look at the Royals. Again, Kansas City off to a good start there. Kind of looking at the I'm going to pull up the MLB standings here and give you a quick update on that. As again, the Royals at 18-13, they're still 2 games behind the Guardians, who are 19-10. The Orioles are 19-10 in first place by a game over the Yankees in the AL East. The Yankees 19-12 in the West. The Mariners are 17-13, a game ahead of the Texas Rangers, who are 16-14. We're going to see the Texas Rangers if you're part of our bus trip coming up on Sunday. So the Rangers, the defending World Series champions, as they're 16-14, a game behind the Mariners. The Astros 10-19. It's crazy to see them that far down the standings in last place, the AL West. NL East, the Braves are 19-9, half game ahead of the 20-11 Phillies. NL Central, the Brewers 18-11, they're a half game ahead of the 18-12 Cubs, and the Dodgers are 19-13 in the West. The only winning team in the NL West at 19-13, the Giants are in second, 4 games behind at 14-16. The Rockies and Marlins are not having a good year, nor are the White Sox. They're the 3 teams left that have not hit double digits in wins. The White Sox, the worst team in the MLB, at 6-24. Marlins are 7-24, and the Rockies are 7-22. So a tough start for those 3 teams. But again, the Royals just 2 games behind in the AL Central. They're 18-13. And if the season ended today, they'd be a wild card team. Hey, let's do it. Let's wrap it up. I don't even care that they're not the division champions. Let's just put them in the wild card. Let's call it good. Wrap the thing. They would play the Red Sox if the season ended today, it looks like. Either the Red Sox or Tigers. Don't know how that all would play out. It's a long way away until the playoff picture completely gets filled up and we get to that part of the season, though. Again, the Royals winning 4-1 over the Blue Jays last night. They finished out their series at 2:07. this afternoon. Take a look at local sports now. Again, momentarily, we'll be joined by Michelle Brummet, former Lakeside volleyball coach. But first, tell you about some of the activities that happened yesterday. The Lakeside Golf Invitational as the Knights take first place in their home meet. 305 as a team. Second place, Pike Valley at 348. Jace Cunningham of Lakeside was the individual champion, shooting a 68 on the day, ahead of Christopher LaRock of St. John's, who finished in second with a 74. Tatum Miller of Lakeside third. Ian Christine fourth for Lakeside, and Ethan Worth of Rock Hills finished fifth. Rounding out top five, all from the area there. You can find the full results at ncksports.com. You can also find full track and field results from the area on Tuesday. Multiple area teams were at the Logan Invitational. The Osborne girls and boys both took team championships. On the girls' side, gold medals for the Osborne 4x4 and 4x8. Grace Williams finished first in the shot put for Osborne. Levy Reiner won the discus for the Lady Bulldogs, and in the javelin, Levy Reiner won the discus. Gracie Reiner winning the javelin for Osborne there yesterday in Logan. On the boys' side, as I mentioned, Osborne does take the team championship there as well. 400-meter dash from Thunder Ridge, Mason Baker first place. Johnny Hamel took first in both the 1,600 and 3,200 for Osborne. Nathan Goheen of Osborne winning the 110 hurdles. Sam Kindig winning the 300 hurdles for Osborne. 4x1 and 4x4 boys teams winning for Osborne, and javelin and gold went to Hunter Howe for the Bulldogs. Minneapolis Invitational, Madison Howland of Smith Center took home first place in both the 1,600 and 3,200 meter. The Bullet JV squad took first in the 4x1 throwers relay. Also, on the boys' side, Tyson Gates of St. John's, the lone gold medal winner from the area. He took first in the 110-meter hurdles. Then in the Tuscan Invitational, gold medal wins for Bentley Smith of Lincoln in the 100-meter dash on the girls' side. Bethany Simmelink of Rock Hills in the 200. Cody Hill of Sylvan Lucas in the 400. Brianna Reeves of Pike Valley won both the 1,600 and pole vault. 4x400-meter relay went to Sylvan Lucas. Rock Hills winning the 4x8 on the girls' side. High jump goes to Emily Cheek of Sylvan Lucas. Savannah Cole of Rock Hills winning the triple jump. Boys' side there in Tuscan. 200-meter champion Xavier Miller of Lincoln. Cam Ward winning the 110-meter hurdles. 300-meter hurdles goes to Jeremiah Miller of Lincoln. 4x1 Lincoln first place. 4x8 Rock Hills in first place. And Nate Myers took first in the long jump for Rock Hills. Baseball and softball. Baseball, Concordia winning over Marysville, getting a sweep 9-6 in Game 1. I need to double check. They did win Game 2. I don't have that score right in front of me, though. I forgot to update that one. To make sure what the final was there. I might be able to pull it up here fairly quickly. 17-13, I believe, was the final there for Concordia in Game 2. So Concordia getting a sweep over Marysville in baseball. Marysville gets a sweep in softball 11-0 in Game 1 and taking Game 2 10-4. That's a catch-up of local sports. Again, all the results, if you miss them, always posted online at ncksports.com. 9:18 here on Waterside Wake Up on this Wednesday, May 1st. As we told you and have told you earlier this week, Michelle Brummet has stepped down as coach of the Lakeside volleyball team. She had an outstanding career in a 9-season career there for Michelle as the head coach of the Lakeside volleyball team. You can read much more about her success and what she was able to do at ncksports.com. She had again, a lot of success, winning 190 games with 190 matches, 118 losses, went 72-28 in the Northern Plains League, and 6 of the 9 seasons she coached, the Lady Knights had winning records. They went 33-6 and 10-1 in 2021, making their first and only state tournament appearance in program history. They did go 2-1 at that state tournament, but with a tiebreaker, unfortunately, didn't get out into the semifinals. But again, a very successful year there and a very successful run from Michelle Brummet as the head coach of the Lakeside volleyball team. I had a chance to catch up with her, and we'll hear from Michelle on her decision to step down as the Lakeside Lady Knight volleyball coach. And welcome back on the Sports Ticket here on Katy Country 94, as we are joined now by the former now coach of the Lakeside volleyball team, Michelle Brummet. First of all, Coach, thanks for taking some time to be with us here to chat about the decision. I know that this is kind of the question I ask to everybody when these things happen, and especially when it's on your own decision there. Why would the time be now to step down, and what are the thought processes of making that decision?
Hey, first of all, I want to say thanks for taking the time to visit with me. This has been a tough decision for me. I guess the why is it time question is I guess, when I took the position 9 years ago, was always in my mind that I would stay until Pete was done. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to walk away. The kids are special, and you don't want to let them go. Just as one group graduates, you're already attached to and see the potential in the younger players. It's a wonderful cycle, but it might be impossible to remove yourself. But for years, I've been involved in coaching winter club volleyball, and this year was the second year of having my own club. So I've been working with over 50 girls from all over the area, and unfortunately, I can't work with the Lakeside girls during the winter and coach them in the fall. Those are Keisha's rules, and it just doesn't work. So I didn't necessarily want to be done, but I didn't want to give up the great progress and relationships and everything that I make in the winter. But I also didn't want to jeopardize any type of eligibility for the Lakeside players. And ultimately, when I started doing this winter club on my own, the Lakeside players were in my foremost thoughts about these are the kids that I really want to help. So that's just it. Asia rules aren't allowing me. And on a side note, too, and a little less of my reasons, with Lauren going to college, I want to be able to have a free time to travel with her. Sheldon and I have plans, and away from here, try to get away from here a little more often, but it's been a hard decision.
Absolutely. I know it's always tough when you make those decisions, but when you kind of look at it and your time here at Lakeside, and obviously that holds true with the effort that you put into this program, obviously that you would want to help the Lakeside kids during this winter time, and it's just kind of the way volleyball is going, right? You got to keep ahead of the game, and during the winter time you're doing things, and yeah, rules are rules, I guess, right? But as you've had a chance to kind of look at your time with Lakeside and how much that school has meant to you and how much these girls have meant to you over the past, what's the toughest part about leaving that part of it from that perspective?
Oh gosh, the love and the relationships are the things that have been the very most rewarding. Coaching both of my daughters was a tricky balance at times, but we were good about not bringing volleyball home with us, but it was such a great opportunity for me to spend time with my girls as teenagers when maybe they don't want to spend time with you. So maybe they didn't realize that I was getting my time in. They just thought of me as coach. But I'm going to miss the kids. I'm going to miss seeing them excel in other sports and all of their individual interests. It's just amazing how attached and how involved you get with them, and how it's just so awesome to see their faces light up on all of their successes, not just in volleyball, but everything.
Mm-hmm. You won 190 matches as a coach there at Lakeside over the last 9 years. You went 72 and 28 in league matches. You've always had a lot of very good teams. You led the 2021 team to the first and only state tournament appearance in program history. Obviously, that didn't end the way you wanted it to, but still, it was a great memory for your program, and you had a 2-year stretch there that was outstanding. So I know all those wins are going to come, but when you kind of look at some of these teams as they developed, what stands out the most about your time there with the 9 groups that you did have?
Well, obviously the state championship was an amazing experience, but sometimes those wins and losses are just a real small part of the journey. Mm-hmm. I think what stands out the most to me is seeing each individual take their game to the next level, maybe not the top level by a lot of people's standards, but their next level. Just the day-by-day progress that turns into year-by-year progress was the most fulfilling, just knowing that the girls were given 100% and they really bought into the program and they believed. And I think I want to feel like that was possible for their beliefs because they knew I believed in them.
Michelle Brummet, coach, former coach of the Lakeside volleyball team here on the Sports Ticket. We certainly thank you for taking some time here to join us and talk about the decision. I want to thank you personally for all the help you have given me over the past 9 years and helping get scores to me and updating websites and obviously calling you for interviews whenever we needed to and been cooperative with that. We appreciate all your time, Michelle, and we wish you the best of luck down the road, all right?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Again, Michelle Brummet stepping down as the Lakeside girls volleyball coach. We'll have that interview posted later this morning if you missed it on our Sports Ticket podcast. So be checking that out as well. Have a few things to get to, but first let's go to K-State in focus here.
It's time for K-State in Focus. Our focus on Kansas State athletics, brought to you by Heineken Electric in Beloit and by Hanson Auction Realty in Beloit.
There's not necessarily a lot going on right now, or shouldn't be a lot going on. You know, there's track and field and baseball and things of that nature that people are participating in for K-State sports right now. But there's been actually quite a bit this week off the court or off the field that has come to fruition here. I think the biggest story probably that people are most excited about as K-State fans anyway is Dylan Edwards has officially signed a letter of intent to play football at Kansas State. It was I mean, people know the story or the backstory about Dylan Edwards. Dylan, out of Derby, had an outstanding career at Derby down there in the southern portion of the state, what I would call South Central Kansas. Maybe a little bit southeast when you hit Derby, but mostly South Central. But had an outstanding career there at Derby and was very, very solid. Committed to Kansas State out of high school. Had the big press conference and said, Kansas State, I don't see myself going anywhere else. I'm fully committed. And not long after that, decommitted and committed to Notre Dame. And then not long after that, Notre Dame got a 5-star running back, and Dylan Edwards is a running back. And he said, whoa, I wasn't ready for this and expecting this. So he drops out there and eventually hops on with Deion Sanders at Colorado. There, so he had 3 different commitments that he made before he actually made it to college and played as a true freshman at Colorado. Actually had a fairly good first season there. It really actually started very, very well in the first game as he started his college career on a high note, 177 all-purpose yards and 4 touchdowns. But in the end, he finished with just 5 total touchdowns. He had 36 receptions, 299 yards and 4 scores, and he ran for 321 yards and a touchdown, and had a very good freshman season just on some of those marks. Again, most of that, and he just blew up on the scene right away in that first game in the win over TCU, but didn't quite have the same effect, I guess, for Colorado as the season went on. Colorado, obviously, with that win over TCU, got a lot of pub in Deion Sanders' first game, and they had a flashy, high-scoring offense, and then things didn't quite work out for him in the end. But Dylan Edwards then hit the transfer portal last week, and a couple days later, he says, I'm committed to K-State, and I'm just waiting for him to sign on the dotted line, get that letter of intent signed, and make sure you're actually coming. And he has that letter of intent signed. He played Pop Warner football with Avery Johnson down in the Wichita area, so these two kids know each other well. They played against each other in high school. I don't know how often Derby and Mays met on the football field, but they know each other. They're very well acclimated to each other and who they are, and it should be a lot of fun seeing Dylan Edwards, the running back in the K-State offense, and new offense under Matt Wells and Connor Riley, who are the offensive coordinators after Colin Klein went off to Texas A&M in the offseason. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Dylan Edwards can do as a running back in this new look K-State offense under Matt Wells and Connor Riley. So that was the first commitment and signing. And yesterday, K-State bolstered its linebacker core as they signed El Paso, Texas native Alec Marinko. He is transferring to K-State from New Mexico. He's a second FBS transfer signee by the Wildcats this spring, as we mentioned with Dylan Edwards. He has 1 year of eligibility remaining after carding 96 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, a half sack, 3 pass breakups, and a forced fumble over his previous 3 seasons in Albuquerque. He led the Lobos in tackles. He was All-Mountain West honorable mention pick in 2023, and so he had 66 tackles in 12 games and 10 starts this past season. So most of what I said about his tackle numbers were during that junior year with New Mexico here in 2023. So, and again, a linebacker, Alec Marinko, is joining the K-State football team. Our focus on K-State athletics today is brought to you by Heineken Electric in Beloit and Hanson Auction Realty in Beloit. Also announced yesterday, David Gasson will return for his senior season, as he has an extra season of eligibility, the COVID season, and those are about to start running out for most of the people that are playing. The 6'9", 205-pound wing played the last 2 seasons at K-State, and coming over from Virginia Tech this past season, they had a career high in scoring at just under 8 points a game, career highs in total points, double-digit games, field goals made and field goals attempted, double-doubles, career high rebounding at just under 7 a game, total rebounds, assists, blocks, steals, and total minutes, all career highs for David Gasson in 2023-24. I got to be honest with you, I would not have expected to actually read those numbers and say that he had a career year. There was a lot of talk about Gasson and how he'd improved his game and how much better he was going to be and how much he was going to help the team. And I'm not saying 8 points and 7 rebounds doesn't help the team, but with the hype that was around David Gasson going into last year after playing, I believe, for the Netherlands in the Worlds or qualifying or whatever it was over the summer there, there was a lot about David Gasson and a lot of hype on him and expecting him to be a big key contributor. And I'm not saying he wasn't. Again, he did some good things at times, but 8 and 7 wasn't what I was expecting from David Gasson based on the hype that I got, and him being probably healthy to go out there and play. So, am I excited that David Gasson's coming back? Am I not excited that David Gasson is coming back? Call me neutral and right in the middle. I'm not having a party because David Gasson's coming back, I'll say that, but obviously it provides depth in the post and will be a key component if he can continue his development with Jerome Tang's program there at K-State. So that's what's coming up. K-State men do have David Gasson returning to the lineup. The K-State women got an outstanding commitment. I don't know if we talked about this last week or not, on K-State in Focus. I can't remember when she committed, but K-State women have a solid player coming in from the portal. Tamara Poindexter is All-American honorable mention from Tulsa, 7th leading scorer in Division I hoops, and she committed to play her final season of eligibility at K-State. She had an outstanding career there at Tulsa, averaging 21 points, 5.5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block and a half here this past season, and will bring versatility to the K-State offense for sure. She likes to put up 3-pointers. She can hit 3-pointers, very successful in that realm. It's an exciting time for K-State women's basketball, as Aoka Lee had announced that she's coming back, and now they get Tamara Poindexter added to the list. You can read more about her at kstatesports.com. But again, a great get there for the K-State women. K-State baseball team is continuing on. We'll give an update on their season at the moment. After a really good start, things have cooled down a little bit for the K-State baseball team. And if I can get this to load, they're 26-17. Kind of taking a look at what's happened recently with the K-State baseball team. And they have a game actually tonight with Nebraska. That'll be in Lincoln at 6:05. Over the weekend against TCU, they went 1-2. They lost 12-0 in the first game on Friday. Then on Saturday, they lost 7-4. Came back with a 6-3 win in the Saturday nightcap. It was a doubleheader there Saturday in Fort Worth. So K-State goes 1-2 there. And, again, Nebraska tonight, and then they have the big Sunflower Showdown matchups this weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday at 6, Saturday at 4, and Sunday at 1 against Kansas there at Toynton Family Stadium in Manhattan. So let's look at what's going on here for the K-State baseball team. KU, by the way, is 25-15 coming into that 3-game series, 12-9 conference record. K-State, by the way, we told you their overall record. They are 26-17, but just 10-11 in the Big 12. So KU technically better overall and better home or better conference record than K-State. So it'll be interesting to see how that series goes here this weekend. Once again, the focus on K-State athletics today brought to you by Heineken Electric in Beloit and by Hanson Auction Realty in Beloit. All right, going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll tell you about the NBA and NHL playoffs.
I'm Elijah at Kiever Brothers Automotive in Beloit. Did you know that we sell tires? We also perform alignments and all the other services that go along with them. We handle all the top brands. Extras like road hazard warranty, complimentary tire rotations, and complimentary tire repairs are available for purchase on most tires. Right now, we are offering $80 off when you buy a set of 4. Call or stop by Kiever Brothers Automotive for fast, friendly tire services today. Find us just south of the courthouse in Beloit or on the web at KieverBrothers.com.
10 seconds left in game 5. Maxey fires! He's got it! Tie game! 8.1 to play!
Tyrese Maxey went off last night. Holy smokes. It was an interesting finish, to say the least. He scored 7 points in the last 25 seconds of regulation. He got fouled on a 3. They were down 6. The 76ers were there. He gets fouled on a 3-pointer and makes it, and then goes to the free throw line and gets the free throw. Again, this is all happening late in the game where it's 96-90, 25.1 of the clock. He makes the free throw. Mitchell Robinson fouls him on the shot. For some reason, I don't even know how it happened, but for some reason, the call on the floor was a 2-pointer. It was very, very obvious he was well behind the 3-point line. And he hits the 3 as he's fouled, sinks it. He makes the free throw to get the Sixers within 2 at 94-96, and then Josh Hart fouled by Nicholas Batum with 15 seconds left, and Hart made just 1 of 2 free throws, so it kept Philly in the game. It had a chance to, I wouldn't say ice it with 15 seconds left, but definitely had a chance to put them in the right spot to get a chance for the win and finish off the series. That's what was so key and interesting about this game, is that the Knicks needed it to wrap up the series. Now we're going back to Philly, a 3-2 lead for the Knicks, and the Sixers have some momentum here, so they could win in Philly, and then you force a Game 7. Who knows what could happen there? Tyrese Maxey makes that 3-pointer that you heard there with 8 seconds left to tie the game at 97. Nicholas Batum blocked a Jalen Brunson shot attempt there to try to get the win late for the Knicks, and then in the overtime frame, it was the 76ers. And Brunson actually made a 3 to start the overtime to make it 100-97, and then it was actually 102-97 after Brunson scored again just under 4 minutes left in overtime. But a step-back jumper from Tyrese Maxey got the Sixers going in the right direction. They trailed 102-97, but it was in the end a 9-0 run for the Sixers after Joel Embiid made a 3-point play with 1:40 left to go, up 106-102. It was tied at 106, and then after Jalen Brunson 3, and then the Sixers made the rest of the free throws there down the stretch. Tyrese Maxey hit a couple to make it 112-106 with 5 seconds remaining, and the Sixers ended up with the win. An exciting finish there again. The Knicks were that close to wrapping it up last night, up by 6 points with 25 seconds left. They couldn't seal the deal. Had a chance at the free throw line to even seal it, couldn't seal it there. And again, as I mentioned, it's 3-2 lead now for the Knicks, but the series goes back to Philadelphia coming up on, I believe it'll be either tomorrow or Friday. I'll have to look at the schedule here. It looks like it'll be Friday. So, anyway, Tyrese Maxey, an outstanding night for him. He finished with 46 points, 9 assists, Joel Embiid had a double-double with a triple-double with 19 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists in the game for the 76ers. The Knicks getting 40 from Jalen Brunson on 4 3-pointers as well. Brunson continues to play well here in the postseason, but last night it was for naught as the Sixers get the win 112-106. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Dame Lillard are still out for the Bucks right now, but they didn't need them apparently last night. A couple double-doubles from Chris Middleton and Bobby Portis, 29 points and 12 from Middleton, 29 and 10 from Portis. As they also get a double-double from Patrick Beverley with 13 points and 12 assists. The Bucks win 115-92 over the Pacers in Milwaukee to keep their season alive and avoid getting eliminated there. The Pacers do still lead that series 3-2, and they will go back to Indianapolis in that one coming up on Friday as well. So let's look at where we're at. Actually, that I got to double check. These games might be on Thursday that I just mentioned. I clicked on we're backdating on the schedule that I was looking at. So, both of those games are actually on Thursday. Bucks at Pacers at 5:30 Thursday, and the Knicks at 76ers at 8 o'clock. There are a couple games on the docket tonight in the Eastern Conference. It is the Celtics who lead the series 3-1 over the Heat. 6:30 start time on TNT. The Mavericks play the Clippers tonight at 9 o'clock on TNT as that series is tied at 2 games apiece. Again, there's been no Kawhi Leonard here for the Clippers. Paul George is out there. James Harden out there for the Clippers. For the Mavericks, obviously Luka Doncic had an outstanding year. Is in the hunt for the MVP award and the regular season. The Mavericks and Clippers again at 9 o'clock tonight in L.A. 2-2 series tie. Those teams were just one game different as far as their overall record of the regular season. That series actually is going much like I expected it would. Very close series, and with the Clippers' luck, it'll probably go the Mavericks' way in the end. Doc Rivers isn't there anymore. That was a problem, right? Back when they weren't being able to finish. Actually, that made me think. I saw a preview. There's a new movie. I believe it's a movie, not a miniseries, called Clipped. Coming out here in June. I want to look a little bit more of this up. It was funny because I was watching. There actually is a mini series, so it's a mini series. I believe it's going to be on Hulu. There looks like there's going to be. It's a 6-episode mini series. So. I'm glad I looked that up because you couldn't actually tell based on just the preview that I saw, but it looks like it's a 6-episode miniseries on the Clippers, and I'm guessing that it'll start with a lot of how they started, and then Donald Sterling comes in, and then the Donald Sterling scandal looks like it's going to be a big part of this movie. But it's funny, they've got Lawrence Fishburne playing Doc Rivers, and the painted-on hair that he's got is very interesting. And it's also interesting to have Lawrence Fishburne, a guy who I believe is older than Doc Rivers, playing Doc Rivers in a movie. So, or a mini-series, as it were. I got to check and see what the difference in age there is, because it's going to be funny seeing Lawrence Fishburne. Yeah, Doc's 62. And Lawrence Fishburne is, they're both 62. I'd have never guessed that they were the same age. And Lawrence Fishburne apparently looked a lot older than he was when he was younger. We'll just put it at that. They're both 62, but it'll be interesting to see him, looking young at the start of that and playing Doc Rivers, 10 years ago or whatever it might be. I just thought it was funny when I saw him in the previews there. Playing Doc Rivers in this TV series called Clipped. I'm probably going to watch it. It looks like it's interesting. I remember when the Donald Sterling came out, all that info or all that scandal came out and mired in racism, obviously, when it came out there. And so interested to see how that mini-series might come out. I just thought about that I had seen that preview when I was talking about the Clippers playing tonight against the Mavericks again at 9 o'clock. Heat Celtics at 6:30 in the NBA playoffs.
Sets his edges, and Toronto wins on a Matt Nyes goal, sending the teams back to Toronto for Game 6.
Yeah, the Maple Leafs avoiding elimination with the 2-1 sudden death win in overtime over the Bruins in Boston. Boston still leads the series 3-2, but again, they will go back to Toronto for Game 6. That'll be on Thursday at 7 o'clock in Boston. For a couple other teams, though, they weren't so lucky. The Hurricanes winning 6-3 over the Islanders to wrap up the first-round series in the East. A 4-1 win for Carolina there at home. And the Avalanche went on the road to Winnipeg to take on the Jets and ended up picking up a 6-3 win to win that series 4-1 as well. So the Avalanche moving on to the second round in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. Avalanche 6-3. Predators, after they should have wrapped up a win the other night, you really kind of think about this, they should have been tied at 2 each, but they, in the final 2.5 minutes, gave up 2 goals and then a goal in overtime. They were up 3-1. They ended up losing 4-3 in sudden death early in the overtime period. And the Predators and Canucks played to a scoreless draw through 2 periods last night, and then Nashville got the win 2-1 in the end to keep their season alive, winning in Vancouver. It's a 3-2 lead for the Canucks in that series in the NHL first round in the Western Conference. So, again, some teams are still alive, but some of them are starting to move on, as the latest 2 to move on are the Hurricanes in the East and the Avalanche in the West. The Panthers have moved on in the East as well. Looking at tonight's schedule, the Western Conference has 2 Game 5s this evening. Golden Knights at the Stars at 6:30. And at 9 o'clock, the Kings are at the Oilers tonight. Golden Knights and Stars tied at 2, by the way, in their series. And Edmonton has a chance to wrap up the series on their home ice tonight with a 3-1 lead over the Kings in the Western Conference first round. Trying to make sure I didn't miss anything here. Here's a story in baseball. Angels star Mike Trout does need knee surgery for a torn meniscus, as the superstar center fielder has been hampered by a litany of injuries here in recent years. The Angels didn't announce a timetable for Trout's recovery while revealing the injury Tuesday, but sources say best case scenario, and I would agree with this based on some of the things that I've seen broadcasting sports and seen high schoolers deal with some of these injuries. Pro athletes, by the way, have a much better rehab facilities, more than likely, to get themselves. I don't want to discount local hospitals. That's not what I'm saying at all. And then maybe they're not better. I've gone through PT, OT rehabs in 2 places that were outstanding, in Salina and Beloit, and so maybe they're not better. That might be a perception that the high dollar people that they pay for are better and can get you better faster. I don't think that works with the human body, but you have all the resources. What I'm saying is they have the money for all the resources that they need for Mike Trout to have a recovery. So timetable for that would be 4 to 6 weeks. I don't think that's a whole lot different than if somebody has surgery on a torn meniscus, a high schooler that I've seen in the past that have done those things. So, again, 4 to 6 weeks is the timetable. True timeline can't be determined until they actually do the surgery and have him come out of it. So, again, Trout said it's just frustrating, but we'll get through it. I didn't think anything of it, and then I was hitting, running, and didn't feel anything. It was just sore. I was kind of telling myself maybe I just banged it on something. I didn't realize then after the game getting treatment it was really sore. Nobody wants to play the game more than Mike does, said Angels general manager Perry Minasian. He loves this. He loves everything about this. He wakes up thinking about it. He goes to bed thinking about it. He eats, sleeps, and breathes baseball. I really feel for him. It is tough. I mean, the Angels just seem to be jaded, right? Like they go out and get people. They get Shohei Ohtani to come, and him and Trout can't ever be healthy at the same time. Shohei Ohtani, one of the best players baseball's ever seen, and things just don't work out in the end. So Mike Trout, the torn meniscus, out 4 to 6 weeks yet again for the Angels here. In baseball, Denver Broncos have been busy since they acquired quarterback Zach Wilson in a trade last week. Thursday, they selected Bo Nix, a quarterback, obviously, in the draft, and Wilson's rookie deal included a 5th-year option for the 2025 season when they traded for him, and the Broncos have announced that they will not be picking up the option for Wilson. Not a surprise, right? Get Zach Wilson in. Let's see what he can do for a year. Option would have been a guaranteed $22.4 million, which would have been absurd with all the money that they're already paying Russell Wilson in dead cap money. Imagine that, right? Yeah, I gotta look that back up because it's not right in front of me. Russell Wilson has a total of $85 million dead cap charges, and it's $53 million against Denver's salary cap here in 2024, and that would go to $32 million in 2025. Imagine if the Broncos would pick up the Zach Wilson option at $22.4 million, and then add it to the $32 million they owe Russell Wilson. $54.4 million tied up in two quarterbacks that might not even be playing on your team. So, yeah, pretty clear decision to go ahead and not pick up the $22.4 million option for Zach Wilson, who obviously and clearly has not earned that much money. I get he's on a rookie deal, and that's what the option is, but that's why it's an option and not actually part of the contract, because you've actually got to live up to that part and actually perform to a $22.4 million deal. I realize quarterbacks are getting a lot more money right now, but to underperform, they're not. That's not to say that Zach Wilson won't have success, and maybe a change of scenery is going to help him there in Denver, and things will change up. But again, the Broncos did also draft Bo Nix, so I think that would probably be their quarterback of the future in their mind. That's what they want, right? But as it is, that's where we're at. No $22.4 million for you, Zach Wilson. I did see this come across, and I forgot to put it on my rundown, but there is a chance. I'll just talk about it. I'm not going to talk a lot about this because right now it's just a proposal type thing. There is a chance that the Chiefs and Royals could both end up in Kansas based on the no vote by Jackson County with their increase of taxes that would have helped fund the downtown baseball stadium and then also the renovations at Arrowhead Stadium out at the Truman Sports Complex there in Kansas City. So there's all kinds of rumblings now about this, that there's a possibility that both teams could move to Kansas. And out of Topeka, from the AP, some Kansas lawmakers see a chance to lure Kansas City's two biggest professional sports teams across the Missouri border, but an effort to help the Super Bowl champion Chiefs and Royals finance new stadiums, and state fizzled over concerns about how it might look to taxpayers. Again, members of the Republican-controlled legislature pushed a bill Tuesday that would have allowed Kansas officials to authorize at least $1 billion in bonds to cover the entire cost of building each new stadium, paying the debt off with tax revenues generated in the area over 30 years. But GOP leaders didn't bring it up for a vote before lawmakers adjourned their annual session here early today. Some critics derided the plan as corporate welfare. Others were receptive, but didn't want to pass a proposal until the legislature approved a broad package of tax cuts for their constituents. Democratic Governor Laura Kelly would sign, which didn't happen either. So, again, there was a no vote on that. That was out yesterday. The biggest champion of the bill was Kansas House Commerce Committee Chair Sean Tarwater. Kansas City area Republican said supporters want to give the two professional sports teams another option should they contemplate leaving Kansas City, Missouri, which he said would be devastating to both states, or should they leave Kansas City, I should say. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. We need them to stay in the Metroplex, said Tarwater. The idea is not dead yet, but Kelly and her staff signaled Tuesday that she is likely to veto the last tax package. Lawmakers approved cutting income, sales, and property taxes by a total of almost $1.5 billion over the next 3 years. Lawmakers expect Kelly to call a special session of legislature to try to get lawmakers to pass a tax plan that she will accept, and they could consider the stadium financing proposal then. Ty Masterson, Wichita Republican, said we just need a little time on it. We'll be okay. I mean, we're serious about trying to incentivize the Chiefs to come our direction. So, again, we talked about the profits that the state of Kansas makes from sports wagering, that a lot of that does go to funding a new stadium. So that's part of what funding to lure, either the Chiefs or Royals into Kansas. And I did see some drawings and renderings yesterday that would show the new Chiefs Stadium domed out at Legends by Kansas Speedway. So it'd be interesting to have it happen. But again, that's kind of the story. The story for me is I don't think either the Chiefs or the Royals are going to end up in Kansas at any time. I really do. This is a gut feeling. I don't have any way to, actually substantiate all this based on anything that's not already public out there. But I really do feel like at some point they'll work it out that the Royals are going to move downtown, or it doesn't have to be downtown. It can be out north, somewhere in that general area where the Casey Current, where their new women's soccer team stadium is. But I think the Royals are out of Truman Sports Complex eventually, and I think they'll stay in Kansas City. They'll work something out. I think that's based on who their ownership group is and the ties that they have to Kansas City for all of them. They're going to work very tiresome efforts to keep their team in Kansas City. I mean, they're invested in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes is one of those people. Bobby Witt Jr. signed a 7-year deal, could be an 11-year deal, but it's 7 obviously based on the fact that maybe they're not going to be in Kansas City anymore after that, if they can't work something out. And I do also think that the Chiefs, I have a kind of a weird feeling that the Hunt family is probably going to pony up a little bit more money than they first initially said they would. I still think they were kind of throwing the Royals a bone, putting themselves on that ballot on the vote, and just the Chiefs just seeing what maybe they could get out of the deal. The Chiefs by themselves are probably going to get a lot more support from Kansas City than the Royals at the moment in time. The Royals owner is not in great favor with Kansas City Royals fans, just kind of the way he's gone about comments of saying we need to leave the K, basically saying it. I mean, the way he talks about it sometimes just feels like this is just a trash place. We don't need it. And listen, I'm for a downtown stadium. It's whatever. It's the times. You move forward with them. You can build a district around there, and you can get a lot of money out of that. And obviously, for the Royals, revenue would go up. Maybe that would give you a better chance to sign guys like Bobby Witt Jr. more often to long-term contracts and give them the money that they want and deserve. And then on the Chiefs side of things, I don't feel like if the Chiefs do something separately, I think the Hunt family has just more money to put into it. And in the end, I think they'll offer up more, and the Chiefs will stay. I honestly think the Chiefs are going to stay right out there where they're at, whether that be a big renovation of Arrowhead, or if they just build a new stadium across where they'll knock out Kauffman Stadium and do something brand new. I don't know. Arrowhead Stadium is pretty old. It needs a lot of renovations, even though they've done a lot of renovations already here. Doesn't seem like too long ago on it, but I do. In my gut, I feel like the Chiefs are going to stay where they're at. Arrowhead's going to get renovated, and they're going to stay there. I could be wrong about that, but we'll see. I don't see either one of these teams moving to Kansas, though. I really do think both of them will still be in Missouri once everything works itself out. But time will tell on that. No, we have no way of knowing which way that's going to end up. So, again, the proposal yesterday with Kansas legislature was basically no. They didn't even vote on it. They didn't bring it to the table. It's not happening. As I said, it'll take a little bit more time maybe to get something put together, and then maybe they'll have a chance to vote on something and see if they want to try to do that again to lure the Chiefs or Royals into the state of Kansas. So we'll follow it. We'll see how it all goes. It'll be interesting to see it all play out. That's the Sports Ticket today, everybody. We thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a great day.
State, regional, and national sports talk on your schedule. The Sports Ticket Podcast. Subscribe via Apple, Google, and TuneIn Podcasts or sunflowerstateradio.com.